Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of The Breakdown. I'm Nelson Velasquez.
And I am Chris Lee.
And we're both cloud solution architects for BreakFree Solutions, where we work with cross-functional teams in an agile way to help organizations execute their digital initiatives.
Hey, can you tell us exactly what that means, Mr. Wordy?
I will do that, Mr. Pointing Outie. Whether it's cloud and DevOps, delivering digital productions, machine learning, automation, or maybe even trying to raise the great pumpkin from the pumpkin patch on October 31st. BreakFree Solutions is a leader in enabling businesses in achieving their goals, and we are here to show you how we do it.
And The Breakdown is BreakFree's podcast, where we talk about all the different things that we do. We're currently in our Agile and Scrum series, and we'll be chatting with Lauren Matura, Senior Solution Engineer at BreakFree, about what it's like to be a cross-functional team member, what she looks for in a product owner or a Scrum Master, some Scrum and Agile ideals that guide her work, and much, much more. So what do you think? You ready to rock?
I'm ready to roll. So let's do it. Let's bring up Lauren. Turn on your camera and wave to your adoring public. They're all out there. They're all super excited. There you go. Thank you so much, Lauren. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. It's Friday.
It's Friday. We are between you and the weekend. We purposely scheduled this so that way you would have no way of escaping the black hole of goodness that is BreakFree Solutions.
Love it. Love it.
So a little bit about yourself. What are you doing at BreakFree? How long have you been there? What's just a little bit of a backstory for you?
Sure. I have been at BreakFree for almost a year. I am working for one of our clients. It's a financial institution and helping them with a cloud solution, moving one of their systems to the cloud. So that's what I'm currently working on.
Awesome. I'm super excited to hear about this effort that you're going from on-premise to the cloud. So we're going to dig into that. But before we dig into that, we're going to dig into you for a game of Hotbox. All right, this is the game of Hotbox. We're going to ask Lauren a lot of rapid fire questions. And Lauren, we don't want you to think. We just want you to give your first response to every one of our questions in rapid fire fashion. With that said, I've got my trusty timer right here, and we're going to time this for a short amount of time. Are you ready to play some Hotbox, Lauren?
Absolutely.
All right, here we go, and let's begin.
All right, first question. Pumpkin spice or salted caramel?
Salted caramel.
Green or blue?
Blue.
Work from home or do you miss the office?
Work from home.
Segways or chariots?
Chariots.
Friday night or Saturday mornings?
Saturday morning.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Python or real Python?
Python.
Surf or turf?
Turf. No, surf. Just
Surf.
kidding. Surf.
Office Space or Office Max?
Office Max.
Honda or Anaconda?
Honda.
What? Vacation. Very organized or very spontaneous?
Organized.
If you could only pick one of these, would you marry a rock star? Would you fly with Kanye West? Or would you eat a fossilized egg?
You're a rock star, I guess.
Yes, that's the right answer.
There we go. There we
all
go.
we have are rock stars at BreakFree. That's all we have.
Dessert pie or pizza pie?
Dessert pie.
Taco Bell dog or the Hamburglar?
Hamburger.
Halloween or Christmas?
Halloween.
A black hole or a black foal?
Black foal.
Yeah, they're so cute.
Italian or sushi?
Sushi. Hands down.
Hands down. Wow. Jerry Lewis or Jerry Lee Lewis?
Neither of those people.
Neither.
Hey,
Mariah
lady,
Carey?
it's important you know Jerry Lee Lewis. Okay, I'm not gonna do that.
I'll have to Google them after.
You have to Google them. Elf or Die Hard?
Elf.
Destruction or mayhem?
Mayhem.
Moulin Rouge or La La Land?
Moulin Rouge, 100% yes.
Pink or pink eye?
Pink.
Hey, that's time right there. That's right. That's time. Big round of applause for Lauren. Chose pink over pink eye any day. That's just really, really appreciated that. So we hope that you've learned a little bit more about Lauren as a person. But now, let's get serious.
What would you say, like with your experience being on cross-functional product teams? We'll just kind of start with what has been like the best team formation that you've experienced with regard to like just sort of the size? Do you like large teams, small teams, and what's your sort of interaction preference like?
Sure. I think the most successful Scrum teams that I've been on are definitely the smaller teams. Not too big, not too small, but definitely on the smaller side, because I feel when it gets too big, you kind of lose that open communication because there's too many people to coordinate across, and you lose track of what other people are kind of working on, and it's harder to keep up standardized practices across the team. And then as far as like makeup of the team, I think having a team with a nice balance of skills. There may be some people who are more experienced in certain areas, but have like less experience in other areas that are needed, and vice versa. Just so having a nice balance of skills. You may not know everything that needs to be done, but at least like surface level or willingness to learn at least, so that you can pass along stories as needed.
So you're kind of like in that Goldilocks, thing. Can't be too small, can't be too big. So is there a number that you assign to it? Typically, like a ballpark. I know every team's different, but is there a ballpark range?
I would probably say no more than 5.
Yeah, no more than 5. Okay, that's a good number. Is there a lower number to that?
At least 2. I'm on a 2-person Scrum team currently. I don't mind it. It's just more work on the 2 people than if you had a couple more to balance between.
I mean, if you have one person, is it really a team? I've always wondered that.
So there's no I in team, right?
Right.
I don't know.
Right. This is a conundrum.
Well, I think that the 5, that was actually like my favorite number too when it comes to team size, not including Scrum Master and Product Owner.
Yes.
Kind of goes back to like the 2 pizza team concept, where like your team should be small enough that if you want to buy lunch for the team, it should be 2 pizzas should be able to feed everybody, I like that because it just keeps it general, right? But have you ever been on a team that's too big?
I personally have not, but I have witnessed how they function from the outside, and it can get really hectic.
Yeah.
And again, lack of communication. It's harder to stay, up to date on what everybody's doing. And there's just, as someone who's worked with a larger cross-functional team, they don't always stay on top of communicating with the other teams that are consuming their products that they're producing. So,
well, since you brought up the cross-functionality of these teams, like what is it about like a cross-functional team that really makes your heart sing? Like what do you want when you get on these teams that are at no more than 5? No more than 5. When you get on these teams, like what are some of the things that you look for so that in the cross-functional team?
The nice balance of skills. Not everybody needs to be an expert in what we're working on, but as long as there is enough knowledge within the team to accomplish what needs to get done, obviously. And then I think as far as non-technical skills, I think what's huge is having trust amongst the team members and openness, not being afraid to talk about what's going well and what's not, because if you can't evaluate what is going well and what's not, and being truly open with each other, you can improve, and that builds up and can ultimately ruin a team and product in the end.
Yeah, in our last podcast, we talked about feelings on the team, and like being able to be open and sharing your innermost private feelings, at least as far as the business is concerned, between team members. So it kind of sounds like you're in the same vein of just like being able to not only be able to communicate openly, but also be able to share how you feel about certain things when you're working on them. Is that right?
Absolutely, 100%. You shouldn't be afraid to go up to your teammate and be like, hey, the way you did that didn't really jive well with me. Could we talk about it? Or can we try, approaching this in a different manner? And yeah, I think being able to talk to your teammates about that is extremely important.
Yeah. So you mentioned standardized practice across the team. Like, what would you consider like essential standard practices on a product team?
Sure. Huge one, like a definition of done. How does something get considered done across the team? That's generally agreed upon before a product team starts working on, their goals. However, when you have a larger team, some things can fall off the radar, and when there's too much scope for the team as well, it's harder to move all those things to done with that. It's harder to define done when the things don't all line up.
Yeah,
It's hard to find done when things don't get done.
Yes, yes. So yes, definition of done or testing practices for, I guess, depending upon the type of work that you're working on.
Yeah. So it's almost getting into like, well, to me, makes me think of like the topic of stories, right? Like how you write your stories. In your experience or even preference, do you like to participate in the creation of stories? Do you find it best if the development team themselves have an active role in the creation and maintenance of stories, or just a product owner type thing, or?
I definitely think that developers should be involved in at least maybe not the initial creation of stories, but at least in the refinement and before they get worked on. I think developers absolutely need to be involved in that process because it helps get them any questions answered before you get to that work point, and you can engage other folks that may be needed to clarify and help define that like acceptance criteria. What constitutes this as complete?
Have you been on teams that run what you would consider a good stand-up? Have you experienced bad stand-ups before?
I want to hear the bad stand-ups.
Yeah, right?
I want you to dish some dirt. Not to say this is currently happening on any of your teams, winky wink, but let's hear some of the, like, what are some of the things where, like, man, this really didn't work and we had to change something?
Sure. Yeah, I guess the worst stand-up practices that I've been part of are one on the poor side of things would be when people use a stand-up just to get in everything they need to say to everybody about anything that there possibly comes to mind for, getting in the weeds, essentially. Stand-up's not meant for that. And I would say the best stand-ups I've been a part of are when they are truly used to identify and bring to front any blockers or obstacles that the team is facing, and plan to meet up and then resolve.
So I'd like to do something, if you'll humor me. I'd like us to run our own bad stand-up meeting. Right here, right now. We're gonna role play a little bit here, and we're gonna run a bad stand-up according to what you just said here at this point. Okay, everyone, welcome to stand-up meeting. Remember, our sprint goal here is to entertain those who are watching us right now. Let's start with you, Chris.
Yeah, well, so I woke up this morning and traffic was really bad to get here, and I don't think that was very effective. So I don't know if we consider that a blocker or not, but can someone like do something about that? No, like, can you do something about that now? Is now the time to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it right now.
Well, the traffic from my bedroom to my home office there was a traffic jam when my dog was eating his food in the middle of the hallway.
Did you open up a ticket?
No, can you walk me through that right
Sure.
now?
Let me share my screen right here, right now. Lauren, are we hitting the right beats here with this kind of
Yep.
this kind of thing? Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah,
that
yeah. When they tried a solution in the middle of stand up, it's like, let's let's take that out.
Yeah, I mean, because to be fair, scrum calls are and I know that a lot of people do not like hearing me say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Right? Scrum calls are a bit of it's to facilitate conversation. Ultimately, that's really all it is. It's always just facilitate conversation to be the springboard that a lot of people do. Some people use it for status, so I'm not going to fault them for that. That's a bit of project management in there as well, but it's to facilitate that conversation. And if you could just be like, yo, I need to talk to you, Chris, about getting that blocker of your dog between you getting out of bed and to the bathroom, we can have an offline conversation and talk about that elsewhere right there. What I find really interesting is coming into organizations where like everything is a meeting. Every single thing that they talk about, the reason they want to get everything in that one meeting is because they have 15 more behind them
Yes,
that they're trying to avoid, right?
Absolutely.
And so they're like, I just don't want to add another meeting to my calendar, right? And it's kind of antithetical because the more you springboard from one meeting to have the smaller meetings, the less meetings you're going to start having, right? Ultimately, you may have a meeting to have a meeting, but eventually as things get resolved and things move on, hey, guess what? Your meeting load is actually going to go down at that point.
Also, your meeting should have an agenda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right,
You
like-
should stick to the agenda.
And we stick to that agenda.
Time backs as well.
Exactly. My Scrum Master on my current team, she has a really cool little thing that we do. She calls it Elmo, which means enough, let's move on. And so like when someone starts kind of derailing the topic at hand or something, basically sort of the team working agreement is that anybody can be like, hey, Elmo, let's move on. And
I think that's great.
yeah.
Yeah, I've done that before in another team as well. We didn't have Elmo, but we did rabbit ears, going down a rabbit hole.
Rabbit ears. Yep.
So,
WebEx has a little emojis you can pop up on there.
Sure,
One's a
sure.
rabbit and one's a turtle for like, hey, let's speed up, or like, hey, slow down. I want to talk more about this. And that's actually really, but yeah, during stand up, it's let's move on. We talk about what we did, talk about what we're doing next, and are there any blockers? No. All right, next person. Let's go.
short and sweet.
That's right.
Well, so with that said, let's talk about what are some of the things that you champion? You have definite opinions about what it is that makes effective teamwork and product development. What are some of the things that you use or that you try to promote whenever you're trying to get product out the door and be an effective team member? What are like some concepts that you champion?
I champion openness. And I think with openness comes courage and respect. In order to truly be open, you have to have courage to be able to say what you're really thinking, as well as respect. You need to respect your teammates and have them respect you as well, so that when you're being open, they're not going to dismiss what you're saying. And then also you need to respect your teammates when you're being open. You don't want to be putting anybody down, because that can also create tension and disrupt the working of your team. So
You should hear the things Chris says about me. Yeah, I like to add to that list is, and I like the way you put it. I think it's a nicer way of putting it. I ask my team members to be fearless, right? Like I just love the idea of someone who's not afraid to get their hands dirty and is not afraid to jump into things as necessary. And I agree with you, all within the confines of respect for people, their time and their livelihood and their emotions.
yes.
So, really. Is there anything else?
Time
Yeah,
is a huge one there. I didn't even say it, but when you said it out loud, respecting people's time is huge. That goes back to the stand up and not dragging things out in stand up, and time baxing to respect other people's time. So that 100%. And if you respect my time, I will respect your time.
It's easier to be open, to be honest, and to be fearless if you have more of a blameless culture where, and that's one of the things that I think is that like everybody that comes to work, I just kind of believe that everybody that comes to work wants to do their best job. So it's never bad intentions. I mean, maybe sometimes, but I have yet to experience that. But it's not that they have bad intentions, but if something isn't working, it's not the people, it's typically something. It's the process or the technology, or there's some kind of blocker that's there. And if there's like a culture of blame, it's a little bit more difficult. Now, I have seen that a little bit in some organizations where they're kind of afraid to be outspoken like that because it could reflect negatively on their job. But I think that having that open and honest culture goes a long way. And I think that kind of leads me into my next question, which is about retros, right? So have you participated in retros? What are your thoughts on retros?
Yes, I have participated in many retros. I have mixed feelings about them. But however, I love retros. If you hear that, I love retros that do not follow the same pattern. I love it when they're more open form and encourage people to really get to talking about like what happened in that sprint and how can we, like, why did it happen?
Can you give us an example of how to better deviate from that but still get the same kind of information?
Let's say there's, something big came up in the last sprint and most of the stories didn't get done. Pose to the team, question like, how could we have handled this? Why did this happen? What built up to this to let this happen? And
Okay.
Just pointing out specifics to the sprint.
There you go. Right. So you're more of a fan of having a tailored set of questions for that given sprint versus a templated what went well, what didn't go well, what could be improved kind of template. Because it's more targeted, right? And
absolutely, and it's more relevant.
I make everyone in my retros, I make them sing a song about their accomplishments, and that kind of keeps it different for every single retro. So,
right.
The idea behind these meetings is that it starts conversations, right? It's not just so we can have this checklist and do like A, B, and C. Okay, we're done, but we have conversations about them.
Sure, and if a team is able to use the templates and have those conversations still, then great. But I think the conversations are a lot more important than, okay, let's check this box. Okay, So
let's focus on the Scrum Master first.
Okay, let's go Scrum Master.
Sure.
What makes a good Scrum Master?
I think a good Scrum Master is trustworthy and courageous. Back to the courage. On my honor. There you go.
Yeah.
So good Scrum Master, they need to be trustworthy because you need to be able to they have to push back for the developers because they're supposed to help protect the team from outside distractions. And then they need to be courageous because, well, they need to be able to tell other teams no.
So what about a product owner? Like, what are the, I guess, main traits that you think of when it comes to having a good and effective product owner?
For a product owner, I think a big one there is commitment. I think they need to truly be interested in the product that they're owning and have a vision, but also be open. You don't want a product owner that's going to come in and be like, okay, this is the product that we're going to create and this is exactly how we're going to do it, like prescribed. You want the product owner to be, open to suggestions and willing to discuss and know their product as well. They can't just be thrown in there like, hey, you're on this product. No, they need to have some sort of commitment and like passion for it.
What about, have you ever experienced, no naming, you can DM us the names later, but have you ever experienced particularly bad Scrum Masters or product owners, like things that maybe from personal experience that you didn't like?
Yes.
There's such hesitation in that one.
Like, how do I say this nicely?
It's like, how can I tell them that these two?
Scrum Masters that in particular that I'm again not naming names, but when interacting with a Scrum Master and they are not open to, if something's not working for the team and the team brings it up and they just are like, nope, we have to do this. Like, for example, I was on a team it was a platform team, and we were implementing Scrum on a platform team, and it just was not working. And tried suggesting, let's try Kanban. They're still agile. It tends to work better for platform teams. And Scrum Master just completely shut down. Absolutely not. We have to do Scrum. And just, not open to suggestions. If something's not working, let's fix it. It's the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Speaking of the Wizard of Oz, we're going to have to pull back the drape that we have here, and we're going to play a brand new game called the Python Pyramid. All right, we're playing a brand new game called the Python Pyramid. Those of you who remember, in the late 80s especially, there was a show called the $25,000 Pyramid where clues are given and categories are guessed and lots of money is won. Lauren is playing today for the braggadocious rights of the breakdown. That's right, you get a brag that you were able to come up with the answers for the categories that we are going to be giving you clues for at this point. So we're looking for you to get at least three of them done in the next 90 seconds. You have 90 seconds to get these three categories here. Chris and I are going to switch off between them and see what we can come up with at this point. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put some time up on the board right now. Lauren's going to get three categories within the time frame, at least three, to win the braggadocious rights of the breakdown. Lauren, Chris, are you ready to play the Python Pyramid?
Yeah.
As ready as I'll ever be, man.
Excellent.
We're gonna see how this goes.
All right, Chris, you have our first category.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Let's see. Azure, AWS,
Cloud,
GCP. Yeah. Keep
public
going.
cloud,
Heroku, IBM, DigitalOcean, AppScale.
cloud something.
One more word. I'm bad at this.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Technologies. Cloud
Yeah, we'll go with cloud technologies. Why not? It's cloud platforms.
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go. All right. Has weirdly named children. Is kind of builds cars.
Celebrity.
Has a flamethrower.
Elon Musk.
Yes, Elon Musk.
Oh man. Dot matrix printers. Fax machines.
Old school.
Punch cards. Huh?
Old school technology.
We'll take it. It's obsolete technologies. Obsolete technologies, absolutely. And that is game. Lauren, you have hit our minimum 3 successful category guesses, and now you have bragging rights here on the breakdown. How did you enjoy your time today?
It was an experience.
Wasn't it? I thought it was pretty good. So that was a lot of fun. Lauren, if people want to know more about you or find more information about BreakFree, where can they go?
They can go to the BreakFree website.
Yeah, go to BreakFreeSolutions.com. You go there, you can catch all kinds of information about what we do at BreakFree. You can maybe even find out about the kinds of people that work there as well. Also, if you enjoyed this episode, we have more episodes on our channel on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Give us a like and share it with your friends. Let people know about it. We'd really appreciate it.
And let us know if there's something else that you'd like to hear about, other topics, other questions for future either Agile Scrum series questions or other topics, everything. Let us know.
Let us know. So on behalf of Chris and Lauren, I'm Nelson. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Breakdown. See you later.